By the time I have reached this distance in the book, I am myself confused for whom I am writing. Am I writing for the students or for the teachers? Or still for the educators and academicians or some government officers from the Ministry of Education. Frankly, when you write book, that is both the challenge and the joy. That is not to know exactly who is going to be your reader. As a trainer and motivator, my content in my speeches and delivery on stage is always dependent on the audience. Just with a single person missing or present, I tend to change the very content of my presentation, not to mention the flow. It has to be that way because the feedback is so quick and you are paid to not only deliver, but for the organizers to get a positive feedback from the participants. So, in the end, I always end up dumbing myself down. You can't be over smart in a class where the participants have got the noose on your neck and that of your organizers in terms of further business and reputation. It's difficult to empathize or even to understand what I just said if you are not a professional trainer. Teachers, especially, would find it difficult to relate to what I just said because they are paid to deliver the lesson plan as per the syllabus requires them, irrespective of the students composed in the class. But enough of this side chatter. This remaining part of this chapter I have written for the students to help them utilize any type of teacher. In the end, we cannot do without the education institutions and its teachers. Yes, there are some great teachers, more good teachers, and many much more bad teachers. But we can't eliminate them, let alone replace them, because the supply isn't high enough of great teachers, and the teaching has got to go on. So, as a student, I'm going to teach you some techniques you can use to make the best use of any type of teachers you'll face. We discussed earlier the different types of teachers. Unfortunately, most of the teachers look at their jobs as just another job. They forget that their job is not to speak, but to facilitate the learning process in the students, which is a very natural thing. You just need to know how it works and act as a catalyst. In truth, real teaching is like a doctor who heals a wound. He cleans the injured part and puts some antiseptics, then some stitches. After that, the living tissues will do their reparation jobs by themselves, and there is nothing more to do. That's what teaching should have been. The teachers should know how learning occurs, and they just should do just enough to start the learning process akin to the healing process earlier. A bad doctor would not know that there's a need to clean and put antiseptics or that a stitch would be required. In this way, the natural healing process would not be able to begin and the wound would be infected. Still, some quacks will maybe do some chantings or pray the gods or put some chemicals or pull the skin in order to close that wound and make it heal as if it was his doing. Similarly, most of the teachers try to enforce learning by throwing facts, scales, data to the students. They truly believe that this is how learning occurs and it has to be enforced through assignments, exams, and a repetition of the facts and skills that have been taught. Unfortunately, learning doesn't occur like that, as you have learned in this book, because it occurs in the four-brain learning approach. But that's a very distant future where people will embrace this concept of learning. We can say learning as a science is in its infancy. So, like quacks, the bad teachers teach thinking that this is how the students will learn. The whole book is about how the learning process occurs. So, I will get back to the main objective of this last section of this chapter, that is to help the students utilize a different type of teachers. There are some teachers who are very good in the content. They know their subjects thoroughly. It could be anything from physics to economics, or from mathematics to English. Throughout their lives, they have acquired all the skills and facts related to their particular subjects. Most likely, they are highly dominated by the blue or skill quadrant at the cost of the other three quadrants. In fact, that is the very reason they have become so good teachers and risen to the height they are in their academic careers. Such content based teachers are fascinated by their subjects. However, because they are so good at what they are experts in, they find it quite difficult to explain what they know. In order to make a proper explanation, you need to activate the yellow brain quadrant or the wisdom quadrant. However, as you already know by now, it is diagrammatically opposite to the skill quadrant. So it's a very wide leap that the content experts need to take to become great at explaining. On the other hand, the teachers who are very good at explaining will tend not to be very good in knowing all the skills and facts perfectly. However, whatever they say makes a lot of sense. The students understand what they are teaching. However, the problem with them is that their teaching doesn't translate well into higher grades. So, such teachers are not the favorite of the administration. I'm sure by now you must have been able to put a face to both types of teachers that I've just talked about. The idea is to make use of those teachers instead of bad mouthing them. I have trained every professions, but the teachers are the hardest to train because they have a very high ego. Their ego is as big as any CEO ego. It's natural given that they have under them at least 100 students each. It's the average size of a company, so they are the boss, these teachers. It's very difficult to change when you are holding so much power. It is true for CEOs and for teachers. So the idea is not to try to change the teachers, but to make best use of them. In the case of the content experts, just try to take in whatever they teach without interrupting them. And when the class is over, you can go and chit chat with them because they have a very underdeveloped wisdom or yellow quadrant brain. Volunteer to ask questions and to paraphrase the teachings that they have provided in the class using various analogies and metaphors. Consequently, they will click and they will appreciate the value you are adding in the quest to understand through drawing parallels to their teachings. Also trying to provide some real life illustrations that you think might be suitable for their teachings in that class. Then ask them whether it is appropriate. Again, because they are blue quadrant, they don't have the exposure to the information that a red quadrant person would have. So at the beginning, there might be puzzles, but give them some time and they will provide a proper explanation. Also, because they are so invested in the skills and facts, they wouldn't have a big picture of their own subjects. So, using your brain or knowledge quadrant, offer various postulates about the use of what they are teaching, the various classifications, the impact of their teachings, and the skills that they have taught on other subjects and the subject itself in the later chapters. Try to understand why the subject is important, as well as each of the topics and the sections, the various notifications and concepts. Again, because they would not have ever explored in that angle their own subjects, they'll find it a bit awkward. But if you are patient with them, they will be able to answer your big picture and causality type of questions and postulates cleverly. How would they not? Because they know all the facts and have all the skills. It's just that they couldn't fit the puzzle together. They will be very appreciative because you helped them fit the puzzle. We have talked about how to compensate for their weaknesses in the three quadrants. However, you should also learn to use their strength, which is the blue quadrant or the skills quadrant. Give them your own assignments and homeworks to check in front of you. They are so good and meticulous that they will provide you profuse and unrestricted feedback. In this way, you will be able to increase your skills dramatically once and forever. Now they will feel that their strength is being acknowledged greatly. In this way, you have successfully been able to utilize one of the hardest type of teachers who are appreciated by the administration but underestimated by students themselves, who just gotta know each other's strength and weakness and make a strategy on utilizing the teacher's strength. And most teachers are from the blue quadrant. So the strategy that I offered works in most of the cases.